travel isn't just about destinations, it's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabocha, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
Time for the Sharing Space. This is where we share our stories about anything, really. Whatever happened, wherever, you can just send us an email on cm@702.co.za. Maybe you need advice from some of our listeners, or you want to know if they've had the same experience as you. Could be a funny story, it could be a concerning story, it could be a tragic story. Please feel free to share your stories with us on cm@702.co.za. Today, we've got an email from Anonymous. I'm going to read it and then afterwards go to your calls and WhatsApps. If Anonymous is looking for advice, please feel free to give it. If they're just sharing a story, please share what your experiences have been if you've experienced something similar. So here we go. Good morning, Clement and your listeners. I recently became unemployed after completing my studies and graduating early this year. I am currently staying with my older sister and her children. My sister has a helper who takes care of the house and cleans. Recently, my sister has been very rude towards me because she says I sit around her house all day and do nothing. I've tried to assist the helper in making sure that the house is well kept, but she has always told me that she does not need my help. But my sister now sends me on errands to do like menial tasks for her whenever she wants with no pay. She makes me, for instance, do household stuff like clean the yard, go to the grocery store for her, even asks me to do random things like cleaning the walls, which I don't mind oftentimes. But sometimes she asks me to help with her work, which is where I get affected, and I always ask if she won't be paying me. I notice that my friends also treat me differently since they are employed and I'm not. When we meet up, they expect me to just do as they say because they're paying the bill. I have had a chat with some other friends and they say this is what happens when one is unemployed and that people expect them to do some kind of slave and submit to them. And I wonder if any of your listeners has experienced the same thing. And for the employed people, why do you treat unemployed people so poorly? Please let me know also how I can raise this with my sister, because some of the work she asks me for, I feel she can pay for it, especially if it's got to do with her own business. This is Anonymous. Okay, so this is the story that Anonymous is sharing with us. And so, is this something that you've experienced yourself? Maybe you've been unemployed before and you've picked up that there's an expectation that you must be the one that carries things, or go get the drinks, or you're the one that must open the drinks, cook. You're expected to do certain things on the basis that you are unemployed, which I think is incredibly unfair. But also, have you seen people being given tasks because they're unemployed? Like imagine you're asking someone to, like for instance, let me give an example with my relationship with my sister. So I sometimes do work where I need to translate interviews. This is normally for my schoolwork, right? If I do an interview, part of an assignment, and I need it to be translated because I need to submit a transcript, I normally say to my sister, hey, I need you to listen to this whole interview, which is an hour sometimes or less, and I need you to transcribe it. And my sister then says, okay, cool, I'm going to do that. And by the way, my sister is at university. She's doing a final year, so suppose she's not really unemployed. But if she was unemployed, I think I should be paying her some money. And even when she is now in her final year, I still do pay her. I still ask her, I need you to transcribe something for me. It's an hour long. It's going to take a couple of hours for you because she's quite slow. And then she'll say, okay, I'll charge you this much for it. Would you take offense if someone who's unemployed said that to you? Because I think that is fairness. That's a principle that must be applied. Just because someone is unemployed and they've got some time on their hands doesn't mean you can just throw any level of responsibility at them and expect them to do so without charging you. Especially when someone is unemployed. I think that is even more reason why you must at least empower them. Give them something. Especially when you can do that, when you've got the resources to give them something as an appreciation, as an incentive. That's my view. I don't know what yours is, but I do think that sometimes there's a level of treatment that unemployed people have. Someone who's lost a job, someone maybe who's just finished varsity, and you're thinking, they're doing nothing, therefore just ask them to do whatever for you. That's not fair. Give us a call on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 0727021702. Maybe you're one of those that perpetuate this kind of behavior. Why do you do it?
Morning, Clement and the 702 lenders. Winston from Johannesburg here. I could really concur with what your anonymous had said over there. At one point in my life when I was unemployed, I had even my own father telling me that I don't have a say in family affairs since I'm unemployed. This is a normal phenomenon in black families because of when you unemployed, they see you as something they can use around because of you don't have money, so you don't have power. It's very sad, man. Cheers.
Yeah, it's quite sad. I really don't think people need to be treated differently just because they are unemployed. And we've had this chat before on the sharing space. We've had a chat about the roles that we play, and I think at the time we were talking about people who've been more blessed, right? They've got a good job, they're getting paid well, they've got their business, or they're rich, or they're famous. Some of you, because you've appeared on TV twice, or or you work on TV or radio, somehow you've been given the status of, and it happens a lot. I've shared an experience where you start picking up behaviors in the family, and I call it out. Just because I work on TV and radio doesn't mean I take up a position as the most important family member. No, I'm an ordinary family member and I'm young. When we are in setups where the elders have to take a decision and I disagree with that decision, that's fine. I'm a child. And sometimes there's this expectation some people have that because they've got a better job than anybody else in the family, right? You're the sibling who's got money. And maybe you're the youngest or middle child. Somehow people must hear from you. You take decisions about what must happen to our parents. What must happen to this and that. I think that's crazy. And if you're in a position of privilege like that, you need to call out that behavior. Because I think our families go back to that. They always put you on a pedestal because of your status in society. You need to call that out and say no. If you've got an older brother who's supposed to be the one that takes a decision, maybe they're unemployed, get the family to know that this man's voice is not going to be silenced by the fact that he doesn't have a job. How do you navigate all of that? More calls and WhatsApps after the break, 14 minutes before 12.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabocha, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
It's going up to 11 minutes before 12 o'clock. Kay, you're calling from Midrand. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. I just wanted to comment on the topic.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, to say that, you know what, I think it will be inconsiderate for people to bombard you with work. And then they don't give you something, even if it does not come in the form of a salary per se, but at least remunerate people. I've stayed with family members who are not employed, or they were students, or they were not working, if I need them to assist me in my business or anything in the house, I'm considerate to the fact that they are not working and they've got needs. So from time to time, I give them something. Yeah, and I don't think also it is correct that when people are not working, they must be ill-treated. But I grew up from a poor background where, nobody was working in the family. And, people in the village would call you to do their laundry, to look after the kids, to clean the yard. And when I say clean the yard, I'm not talking about sweeping. I'm talking about hohora, to remove the grass and everything. When you finish, they just say thank you. And they know that there's no food at home, nobody is working. They don't even, thank you. So I don't think it's really correct. We need to think of other people.
Yeah.
And also as family, I think we must not, if people are not working, we need to be family. They must come and stay with us, whether they are going to help us or not. We need to encourage them.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much for your call. Xavier, you are in Rudeport. Hi.
Hi there, how's it going?
Sure, man, go ahead.
Sure, so I was unemployed some time back, and I was in like my 40s and stuff. And my sister took me in, and it was okay. And then she'd ask me to like do certain things around the house, like maybe wash the dishes, and then she'd kind of like, can you weed the garden? Can you hang up the washing? That kind of stuff, right? But in return, I was able to get a plate of food, and I was able to use the Wi-Fi to find work, and she would give me the use of the car to go to interviews. So I was really grateful for that. So for me, it's like, it's a good go. So if she asked me to do something, I did it because I was kind of like indebted to her for kind of assisting me to be able to get to where I needed to be. And now I've got a great job, and I'm able to assist her in other ways and that kind of thing. So I think Anonymous is a little bit too harsh in my view, because obviously she's trying to help. And I did what I needed to do for my sister because she was helping me out.
Absolutely. Xavier in Rudeport, thanks for that. Here's some WhatsApp voice notes.
Hi, Clement. Anonymous here. You don't necessarily have to be unemployed. You just have to not have what other people have, like money, lots of money. And when people have lots of money, even family, they treat you like a piece of nothing. You can be shunted around, the most is expected of you, and no, please, no, thank you. She can do it, she can do it. So sad as it is, but, it is what it is.
Hi, Clement. It's also possible that Anonymous is having a problem or issues with the fact that they are unemployed. So they tend to look at the negatives only, or the bad things that people do to them. Sometimes a friend can say, can you pass me something, without them maybe trying to make you feel small. Or it's Lewahang, by the way.
Morning, Clement. My advice to Anonymous would be, don't allow your economic standing to be tied to your value as a person. I've been unemployed for what now? About 2 years. When it comes to my family, I'll do my part in terms of the family, but then I'm not going to be their slave, and they know that very well. When it comes to friends, I think I'm lucky because whenever I'm sitting with my friends, I'm always the most qualified in the room. So they know very well that my value is not linked to the fact that I'm unemployed, and they treat me like a person. So don't allow your dignity to be taken by your economic standing.
Hi, Clement. This thing, it does not only happen to people who are working or not working. It's just a status. I'm from KZN. And I live here in Johannesburg. Whenever I visit home in Durban, yes, I'm being elevated. I'm treated like I'm like a superstar or a king just because I'm working. I'm driving. None of the family members at home has got a car. And even if they are working, maybe they are not paying as much as I do. And I'm always treating so special. And that thing, I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me. And I always tell them, I'm just one of the siblings, just like anyone else, whether you're working or not. They shouldn't just treat me like I'm Jesus. I'm just an ordinary member of the family as well.
Yeah, and I think, they need to be told that, guys. And because the responsibility, I don't think, should fall on the family members. I don't think it should, because it's almost like it's a psychological thing. Like, society expects that because you drive a fancy car, because you are educated, especially many of us who come from the villages, because we have somehow managed to get out of the village. And there's not a lot of us who have, quote unquote, made it. And I use that for lack of a better word. But when you go back home, you start being treated like from the neighbors and then that is just so uncomfortable. And that's why I'm saying the responsibility mustn't be placed on them. Let it be placed on you. What are you doing about it? You need to call it out. You need to be a child at home. You are a child. You are not a CEO when you are back at home. You're not a top executive. Huh? You're not a famous actor. You're not a famous broadcaster. You are home as a child. You've got friends. You've got family. And that doesn't have to change those dynamics just because of your status in society. We need to learn to call those things out. Sometimes they don't want you to clean. Like when you want to cook or you want to clean, like, no, you can't do that. And now what? They must go get an unemployed cousin to do it? That's not cool.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabotja, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.